2026. The time is exactly 6 o'clock. At this time, I'd like to do a roll call.
Thank you, Mr. President. Director Jose Hernandez Jr.
Here.
Director Byron Glenn.
Here.
Director Rick Webb.
I'm here.
Vice President Greg Wood.
Here.
President Gregory Washington.
I'm here.
We have a quorum present. General Manager Ken Domingo.
Here.
Assistant GM Ben Stewart.
Present.
Director of Public Works John Houghton is absent tonight. I am the Director of Administration and the Board Secretary. My name is Shelley Kemp. Do we have our legal counsel, Mr. John Como?
I'm here. Hello, I'm here.
I think I hear.
Oh, I didn't hear.
I'm here.
Yes.
Hello, John.
Hey,
Good evening. Okay, at this time, Director Glennon, could I have you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Everyone rise, please. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Okay, adoption of the agenda, approval of the agenda.
Approval of submitted, sir.
Approved by Director Webb,
Second.
second by Director Wood. Okay, public comments at this time. Oh, that's right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 5-0. Thank you, Rick. Director Wood. Okay, public comments. At this time, any person may address the board on any subject within the district's jurisdiction, which is not on the agenda. However, any non-agenda matter will be referred to staff for a report or action at a subsequent board meeting, and no action can be taken on any such item discussed unless the action has been authorized under the government code. Any person may also address the board on any agenda matter at this time, at the time that matter is discussed, prior to board consideration and action. Speakers are requested to limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. Are there any public comments? Good evening, sir. Could you please state your name and share your need address as well?
Name is Donald Simmons. I'm at 3313 John Court. My question is, we got this in the mail, the rate changes. And on page 4, it says, owners of property affected by the rates, as well as tenants paying for the charges, may file a legal objection. What is a legal objection?
Would you like to answer that, Mr. GM?
Yes, Mr. Simmons, legal objection is, there's actually different, I think there are different ways to respond that are provided in the notice.
Well, it says, though, you can't just disagree. It has to be a legal, valid objection against Proposition 218. But what would a legal objection be? I mean, the rates are
In
good.
the case of a tenant, that would be a legal objection in the case of a tenant, because the protest or the process, we'll have a protest hearing at the end of next month,
Right.
meeting and
Right.
so, yeah, and so you can actually, at any time before the meeting or at the meeting, you can come and bring, if you're a property owner, you can come and bring a protest, and your protest will be counted. Now, a legal objection will be related to if you're a tenant and you don't own the property. But yeah,
That's
you're
not-
still affected.
That's not how it says here. So it can be just a objection to this. It doesn't have to be a legality of the law. Okay.
You can come in and say you object to it or provide something in writing and provide it to the Director of Administration, and she keeps track of all the ones that we receive prior to the hearing. They'll be noted in there.
Okay, then I read somewhere in here that it says this will not be changed at all unless you get over 51% of the population to disagree.
So it will be changed if.
You have to get over 51% to get it to change.
50% plus 50%, yeah, 50% plus one in order to not enact it. Right. Yeah,
That's gonna be impossible because how many people even read this?
that's a good question, and that's the way the law is written, so.
And just one item I noticed, I don't know if this is the right time to say this, but your HCF rate from 2027, from now to 2027 is a 67% increase. That's pretty high in my eyes. I was only big checking it.
I commend you, sir, for reading it. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for coming and showing support for the city, for the town.
Okay, voluntary public roll call via teleconference. If any member of the public on the teleconference video conference wishes to identify themselves as present for this meeting, please do so for the record and minutes. Is anyone out there? Okay, no one's out there. Consent calendar, CC1, review of the check voucher register dated February 17th, 2026 through March 2nd, 2026. Payroll direct deposit dated February 25th, 2026. CC2, review of the check voucher register dated March 3rd, 2026 through March 16th, 2026. Payroll, and that's direct deposit dated March 11th, 2026. Payroll checks dated March 11th, 2026. CC3, General Manager Expense Report 2/2/2026. CC4, cash balances for February 20th, 26. Motion approved consent calendar.
So moved.
Approved by Vice President Wood. Second.
Webb, sure.
Second by Director Webb. Any discussion? The calendar? All in favor? All opposed? 5-1. Minutes, M1 through M3. That would be approving February 17th, 2026 Finance Committee meeting minutes. M2 is approving February 17th, 2026 Wastewater Committee meeting minutes. M3 is approving February 18th, 2026 Government and Community Relations meeting minutes. Motion to approve? Approved by Vice President Wood. Second?
I'll second.
Second by Director Hernandez. Any discussion on this? All in favor? All opposed? 5-0. New business. Okay, new business 1. Approve change order number 5 to the construction contract for West Valley Construction for the Arsenic Consolidation Phase 1 project. Okay, so we're gonna go 1 through 5 on this. Okay, motion to approve.
You want a staff report first, Mr. President?
Yeah, I do. I don't, my information is,
Hydro excavator is a diesel vehicle, and so you are required to offset that with a zero emissions vehicle, so basically an EV.
And we, when we purchased the new backhoe, did that also mean that we've got to, does that count towards that EV
Yes.
mandate?
Yes. So, the, the, uh, the project was actually dropped off, it was dropped off by mistake on the mid-year, update to the budget, which happened about 3 months ago. So what we were, and since then, what the staff has done is, we've actually purchased a zero emissions, vehicle truck for use, primarily by the assistant general manager. And so what needs to happen is that project needs to be placed back into the budget, but split between the two funds. And what we've done is we've taken the cost of that, so it's about it's a $50,000 purchase. We split it between a water project and a sewer project. And the table is shown in your staff report, but just we're proposing that the board consider rebudgeting $25,000 from the chromium treatment capital project into the water side zero emissions vehicle budget, and then from the grit removal expansion, take $25,000 from that budget and fund basically a new project, which is 22604, the zero emissions vehicle on the sewer side. Once you complete those actions, then we can appropriately assign the costs that for the zero emissions truck as purchased. Staff recommends that you approve there for a couple reasons. One is so that we can comply with the regulations, and number two, so that we can appropriately assign the cost to the funds that as required.
Real quick, sir, what funds are we looking at? You said the arsenic,
Chromium treatment capital project,
okay, 25,000, right?
25,000 from that.
And then the grit removal.
Grit removal expansion.
That's on the sewer side.
And we're reducing, so those for your information, further information, the current budget for the chromium treatment capital project is $2.9 million. So we're asking to reduce that budget to $2,875,000. And then on the grit removal expansion, which is on the sewer side, that current budget is $1,750,000, and we're requesting to reduce that to $1,725,000. So they all the costs offset. We're not increasing the capital budget overall.
Okay. Motion to approve the budget adjustment, capital budget adjustment for the zero emission vehicle purchase.
Motion approved, sir.
Approved by Director Webb. Second by Director Hernandez. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to know, our assistant GM was able to secure a long enough extension cord for you?
I knew that was good.
OSHA rules, yes, very much so. We got one.
Great.
It takes 12 hours to charge it, but it's doing pretty good.
Perfect.
Great.
Got put bigger batteries in there, sir.
I got a couple 9 volts, but I guess I
Got duct tape together with copper wire.
Right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion moves 5-0. New business 5, approve First Amendment to agreement with Beacon Integrated Professional Resources Incorporated, DBA Hammer, Jewell and Associates for professional real estate services. Presenter Kim Domingo.
Thank you, Mr. President. On April 25th, 2022, the district entered into an agreement with Beacon Integrated Services. And primarily, we refer to them, the staff refers to them as Hammer Jewell, and they are our real estate consultants for the arsenic consolidation project. So they've been helping us secure right-of-way and easements that we need to install pipelines. They've also helped us in some other projects for easement, to obtain easements. And actually, they helped us recently get grant fee documents for our wastewater plant, which was really nice. couldn't find them, and they very quickly got theirs back to us. So, but we found out that the original agreement ended 3 years after the data agreement, which means that their contract actually expired April 25th, 2025, even though they're continuing to do work. We thought, this was pointed out to us by our management analyst that is being provided by Bailey. Said, hey, your contract's expired. And so that's the reason why, you're taking action is to extend it for another 3 years.
Okay.
Which should cover the time that it will take to complete, hopefully, this project.
Okay, motion to approve.
Do we have a dollar amount on this, sir?
No, actually that we do, and I apologize, there's no, so what the agreement included, the original agreement included a fee, an overall fee, and I think it was around $350,000. Not asking for a fee increase, all we're asking for is an extension of time.
And this will be till 2028.
2028, yes.
Okay, motion to approve NB5. Motion by Vice President Wood. Second,
Okay, second Webb, and then I have a question after.
okay, discussion, let's go.
Okay, so, they're gonna continue to do the same thing, help us with the same thing till 28, but no increase in price.
Correct.
Why?
Because there's still budget left. There's still budget left. They haven't spent all.
Oh, okay, the money they had already.
Correct.
Okay,
That was the reason why.
okay, gotcha. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Moves 5-0. Directors' reports, comments, committee reports, future agenda items. I'll start with Director Hernandez.
We sat with, the counselors from the high school yesterday.
Speak up.
Okay,
Turn
Oh.
off your microphone.
You hear me? Now can you hear me?
Little bit.
Yesterday we spoke with, the counselors from the high school, and we agreed with, some dates. The kids that we're gonna select should be 18 by June 15th. And then we'll welcome them to the program, we'll show them, and if they generate interest, then we could go further. But, it was, anything else, yeah, we just went over age, dates.
And just to clarify, that's for our intern.
That's for
That's for our intern program.
yeah, just for the intern for the water district, for the high school. So they were very excited about it. I think there's 12 kids, but he's gonna make sure they're all 18. They should be 18 by June 15th for insurance purposes and interest and all that.
you know, I got a chance to listen in as a ratepayer to the committee meeting, and want to commend you, Director Webb, Kim, Sherry, and the Assistant GM on what you guys are doing in that committee. I'm really excited about it. And like, as you mentioned, you had a couple career counselors from the high school.
Yeah, they were
And
very
I'm
excited.
gonna quote one of them. He said that what you guys are doing was on his top 5 list of accomplishments as a career counselor. So exposing the kids to the water district is a really good idea. I'm excited about it, so.
I comment that this endeavor was spearheaded by President Washington and Director Webb. So I want to commend both of you for pressing staff into getting it implemented. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys are recognized.
I can see the finish line.
Yeah.
It looks
But I
good.
would also add to that, that the whole excitement, even though we helped, the staff helped, Director Washington about that
that initial bulb to the audience for us to get started. So he said, let's look at this, and we started putting energy into it. So Director Washington, the president of the board here, was the first one that brought that excitement, and then we kind of ran in different directions. And I think the good part about it is that we don't give water sewer the proper seat at a table, because that's a skill set you can take across the country, across the world. And I think that's where we have to have people start looking across the country, across the world. It doesn't lock you into a particular location. Then I would also say, you look at the numbers, you start looking at department heads, district heads or whatever, running utilities. The lady who just left DWP left a $700,000 a year job. So compensations are there, starting little and working way up. So that was a good call on the president's part here to get that light bulb started.
All right, thank you.
Very good call.
I have my money now.
Yeah.
Right now.
I have to write you a check.
No check, sir. Sell, okay?
Here you go. Anything else, Director Hernandez?
No.
Okay, Director Glennon.
Earlier in the week, I went to the education day for SDRMA, and the only real negative thing was I had to sit next to Rick every once in a while.
He enjoyed it, people, trust me.
This is the largest one that I've been to, is just under 200 people, which was quite a bit for them. SDRMA is who our workers' comp and liability are through. The JPIA is who our medical are through, and they're both in competition for the same insurance rule. And I noticed that this particular day that there were, I would say, close to maybe a quarter, maybe half of the people that were there were actually employees. Where JPIA, it's all directors. And I was sitting next to one who got an award for their creating a way to avoid injury. And it was from a cemetery district. And I didn't realize it, but I was sitting next to the guy who got the reward. And he clearly had been to the gym. And he created a machine to move the headstones so the employees didn't have to strain.
Isn't that
And he said,
smarter, not harder?
and I talked to him afterward. He said he's the only one that hasn't turned in a back complaint to the workers' comp. But he created it himself, and they got an award for that. But it seems like it's moving. The SDRMA is moving towards the employees coming and not just the directors. Where the JPIA is pretty much all directors. It's always good to hear what's going on with our liability and our workers' comp. And again, the only negative thing was, having to sit next to Rick to eat.
Yeah, you enjoyed it, if I'm gonna say. You look for it.
But thank you for saying that.
All right, Director Webb.
Thank you, dear Mr. President. Good evening, all. Couple things, so bear with me, because I have a few things that annoyed us.
Yeah.
I was at the same conference, and one of the things that kind of stuck with me, presentation, they were talking about cybersecurity, but they were talking about it from a standpoint, after you have the event, we talk strategic planning for the operational side of the district. They brought up cybersecurity threats, preparing a report after you've been hacked, after you've been attacked. How do you get back up online? I shared copies with the general manager and his staff there, and the GM said he's going to add it to our standing plans. But it's just kind of a different way to think about the emergency or whatnot. And the other part that I'd never thought about, we talk, what if your information gets captured? Are you prepared to pay for it? I know for a fact we have nothing there currently, but the GM said he was going to take a look at it. So it just gets you to think in a different direction. But overall, just being prepared, that was a part of it. The other part, and I know we got our training about it, but apparently this SB 2827, this mandated training, I think you had touched earlier on a while back. I guess it's to do because I just got my email notification about it, and they were talking about it at the meeting. But they also had a whole bunch of other training notices here about things we can do. And I think the good part about it, like Director Glenn brought up, it's a lot going on, but I think when you start holding your hand up, being sworn in, that's a lot of responsibility. And, you know, we all remember from days back when Vail had that scandal with them, exorbitant salaries and all that. That's not the big thing, it's the little things that you look at some of these people taking $10 a week for 30 years type of a thing. But anyway, if anyone wants to take a quick glance, you're more than welcome. That's from the training at the RMAC. Apparently, I don't have the date, forgive me, but you can check the Chamber's site. They're going to have a Easter event coming up, and that you can, you know, look at the site for it. It seems pretty good. They're doing a lot of good work over there. The CHP has a new sergeant, Sergeant Grayson, just came up here to the area, seems like a pretty nice guy. Something that concerns me as a driver, as a parent, and just as a community member, year to date, the DUI arrests are up in our community. They're gonna blow last year, based on this number, they're probably gonna blow last year out of the water. So I guess people wanted to drink more, whatnot, but that was kind of concerning that to date, we've already blown last year's numbers out. And they had a presentation by Hydro Store, and I don't know if we ever got a number on it, but that project is $1.3 billion, Hydro Stores. And they said that they got approval by the electric committee, the Department of Energy, so they're off and running. But think about this, folks, in the last 3 years, Hydro Store, Pacific Steel, the mine, and somebody else is up here now. We got all this in our neighborhood, which means they're gonna be building houses where we make sure we gotta have water for them, sir. Cause there's a lot going on in our community here. So I think we're very fortunate, and let's see, that's about it. But I was in Sacramento, and every time you go up north, sometimes you're glad to get back home because there's a lot going. They have homeless people up there too on the freeways. I saw them, they have homeless people up there, but outside of that, I appreciate the district letting me go, getting the information, and hopefully it's gonna make me a better director. And thank you, sir. That's all I have to
All
report.
right, good report. I got a chance to listen in to the RMAC meeting, thanks to Roseman News video, and the Hydro Store presentation was very interesting.
Yes,
Yeah, good stuff.
yes, sir.
All right, saved it for you. Vice President Wood.
Well, I
So you walk in with 4 pages, so I thought I'd save you for last.
Well, what I've got is I attended my first Aqua Groundwater Committee and Water Quality Committee meetings on the 12th of March. And a lot of that meeting was just basically kind of giving you updates on legislation that they're looking at. And without going into 2 hours worth of details, I will say that the biggest factor that they're looking at right now is the SGMA, which is the state's version of adjudication, and which is sustainable groundwater management, and also the water quality. As far as the biggest topic is talking about PFAS, and a lot of they know where the federal EPA is kind of leaning towards, where they've identified 6 PFAS components is what it's going to kind of be in their regulation, but nobody knows where California is going to land yet. And as we all know, we've discussed many times before, PFAS has over, I think it's close to 6,000 identifiable sources today. And we don't know how many of those. I mean, about a year ago, California was looking at 1,300 to regulate in California, but it's kind of up in the air right now, but they're pretty confident that California is going to come down a lot more stringent than the federal EPA is doing. But we don't know yet where they're going to go. And one thing that was agreed upon is that because of SGMA and PFAS and certain legislation that's ramping up in Sacramento, that it's going to impact both groundwater and water quality. And so the groundwater committee and the water quality committee are going to start working closely together and address issues together in those areas. So I'll have more to report. I'm going through this information to prepare my report as a reporter. Thank you, Byron. And I'll be giving that report similar to what I just gave right here to the board, the Aqua board. And but at the May meeting, I'll be giving a report in this area too. It'll be a little more detailed than what I'm giving here. I'm still putting it together. But I think we'll find out more in May at the Aqua conference as to maybe a more clearer picture is going to start to emerge, where we're headed in California and what stance Aqua is going to be taking in regards to these two matters. And that's all I had to report.
All right. Okay, I got three items I want to touch on briefly, beginning with yesterday's meeting of our water committee, which focused on developing innovative water conservation strategies and ways of informing our ratepayers about the challenges posed by the forthcoming state mandate. You guys are familiar with that. What's it called? Make California, it's such a long,
It's,
making,
conservation as a way of life.
yeah, making California
Beating up on the
conservation.
people over there, I'm sorry. One name spot.
Yeah, but good meeting. I thought all the attendees had real valuable contributions to the meeting. There was minimal reporting from last night's AVAC meeting, but I did find it notable that AVAC helped sponsor a program called Feeding Kids Through Agriculture. This initiative involves high school students raising livestock and eventually auctioning it off at the fair. A couple of the directors also shared some insights from the Colorado River tour they recently went on. I found that interesting as that was my old stomping grounds, as my Western Region team provided preventive and corrective maintenance to the desert region. So I used to be out there all the time. Many people are unaware of Southern California's dependence on Colorado River water, with efforts currently, and I believe in the past 10 years, underway by metropolitan engineers to reverse flow of water so that they can bring Colorado River water to the San Fernando Valley. So that's something I've watched them work on for like the past 10 to 15 years. And it's really highlighted in the Burbank area. We have a Gregg Avenue pumping plant there. So that's where all this new equipment went in to try to achieve this task. And one other thing, the AVAC Director Paris, the General Manager and Assistant General Manager will in fact be at the Spring Aqua Conference. So you guys can say hello to them. And one other thing, I forgot to mention this to you guys yesterday. I saw last week the CSDA published a bulletin outlining Cal OSHA's revised rules for compliance to workplace first aid kit regulations. The proposed rules are designed to minimize injuries by ensuring that first aid kits are accessible within 3 to 4 minutes for all jobs. This could be particularly important in areas where specific hazards, let's say a snake bite or a burn, would come in effect. Employers not adhering to the new standard for first aid kits will be required to consult with a physician or licensed healthcare professional to determine the appropriate supplies needed. So I'm sure we'll be discussing this in the upcoming months. And, while this may not seem like a big deal to you guys, my personal experience with accidents on my old utility truck suggests having more specialized kits making a significant difference. You know, we focused on one cabinet that had the microwave, the coffee maker, but I think now we need to specialize that cabinet for first aid needs. And one last thing for the government committee. April is month of military child, and the Roseman High School baseball coach, Charlie Wallace, who is also the ROTC leader, will be holding a military appreciation baseball game. This game will be April 17th, and it's between Roseman High and the Desert. So you guys may want to, because I know you talked about military appreciation, so you may want to reach out and talk with him.
What's that date?
April 17th. And that's all I have. All right. General Counsel update, Mr. John Kumar.
No update tonight, folks. Jeremy, no update tonight.
All right. General Manager update, Kim Domingo.
Thank you, Mr. President. You guys stole my thunder on one of the reports I was gonna give on. Then that's okay, that's great.
Okay, which one?
Again, Roseman High, the
Oh.
meeting with Roseman High School, I think that was, you know, it's a really good thing. Because number one, there's a real need in our industry, number one. And number two, it was really encouraging to see the career and technical education counselor get excited about something local, because that was the one thing that he said was the biggest challenge to get students to those opportunities was transportation, because
yeah.
a lot of them don't have cars, and a lot of them don't even have licenses or permits. So the fact that we have an actual opportunity here locally that, you know, they could bike to if they wanted to, it was really exciting for them. And so we're, as Director Hernandez stated, we're getting ready to schedule those dates and start to put that program together for the open house, kind of the open house. It's really a field trip to the two functions that we provide. And just to see who would be interested in doing it, and then having them go through an application process, and it being a training opportunity for them to actually fill out applications, to actually go through an interview process, and try to let them be relaxed, right? So that and we can kind of coach them along the way, perhaps, you know, have a kind of a coaching session after the interview. I'm really looking forward to that. So I think it's a really, it was, again, I want to thank President Washington for kind of bringing the thought and the idea, because I think it'll definitely, it's like I said, it serves two purposes. We have a need, and, you know, it's not just that we provide water and sewer. I mean, those are essential services, very important, but it's also, you know, opportunities for careers and an opportunity for our staff to give back to young people and have an opportunity to mentor them. So all those things are just so positive about the program. So I wanted to, again, just thank the committee for the work that they've done on that behalf.
Great.
The other item that I need to report on is we received a request for a permit to enter and construct from Kern County for Stetson. There's going to be curb and gutter, definitely no curb and gutter improvements along Stetson, just north of the fire department, and then over to the new track that's over to the west of us. And as part of that project, the county is going to install, because we have a gate on that north side, and they're going to install a driver approach for us. So but I wanted to let the board know that I was going to go ahead and sign this, but I wanted to let you know that. But that was the reason why that we're doing, we didn't bring this to the board. It came, after the agenda was posted, but didn't need to be agendized.
Right.
This is just something I think you all need to know, that the county is moving forward in the improvements in this area. And actually, I also, I guess I could, on a related issue, we had a labor compliance person come to the counter yesterday asking about the sheriff's department project, because he's been monitoring whether or not that's started construction, things like that. And I connected him with the project manager back in the know that's working on that project. So that project's moving forward. So eventually we're gonna have, the curb and gutter on the south side at least, and then eventually the sheriff's substation will be in that location over there as well. So some exciting things happening around us.
Great.
That's all I have.
All right. Okay, we'll move over to the Assistant General Manager update, Mr. Stewart. How are you?
Doing good, sir. How about yourself?
Good, good.
First, I'm gonna ask a question to Sherry. Are you gonna talk about Metro?
Yeah.
I will not steal your thunder.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I will talk about, we have signed the contract for IT pipes. It's on the budget for this year, so we will be moving forward on the CCTV software equipment. IT pipes is a software that helps us identify issues in our sewer lines, and then it can categorize it using what's called the PACP method. If you didn't ask me what PACP stands for, I can tell you right now. Pipeline Assessment Certification Program. And so that will help us generate capital projects in the future by categorizing them on levels of severity. So IT pipes is leading the way. In the future, we might expand and be able to use it towards AI. So instead of the staff stopping at each individual defect and coding it, we could have them just camera the whole line, and then we'd be able to submit it online. So IT pipes is one of the leaders in the industry. So that, we just signed the contract. We should be doing the implementation in the next couple weeks. And the other thing is AIMS Phase 2. That is our GIS layer that we do all of our PM tracking in, preventive maintenance tracking. So we're starting Phase 2. We'll be meeting with Jerome in the future to get that implemented. And the nice things with that is we can track where we have water leaks and then expand upon that. If we start seeing a congregation move in one area, then that will help us dictate where we need to go next. And then also for reporting on sewer spills or sewer cleaning, we can actually go back into the history and show when we were there last time, and that's great for audits. And the last thing I have, just for you guys' information, Cedro Construction is scheduled to start in the coming month on service line changeout on the Myrtle Melvin project. That's over off of, that is the northwest corner of Rosen Boulevard and 30th Street West. So they'll be doing a service line changeout. I believe it's 52 services there. So that's great. That will limit the leaks we have. And the last thing I have is I am now on the board for CWEA Golden Empire section. So that's from here up past Bakersfield. So I'll be helping with them for certification purposes and outreach, talking about sewer systems.
Oh,
So,
I forgot to mention, we're gonna be attending.
oh yeah, you
Yeah,
can
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow we're attending the CSD. CSDA meeting.
Yeah, the Kern County CSDA group. We're gonna be attending a luncheon there as well.
So we will be able to meet our counterparts at other CSD.
From different water agencies.
Yes.
Oh, and we took that water conservation.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
I thought,
All right. You had a really good idea you spoke with me about in terms of your wellness program for the employees. Are you ready to talk about that yet, or I don't want to steal your thunder?
I actually was talking to Jim about it today. My
Okay.
intent is to reach out towards Roseman and Jim and see if he can offer any creative pricing for staff so that we can work towards a wellness program. Try to get people out there, get them more moving, and I think that's a good opportunity. And also show support to a local business here in town.
Yeah.
So
it was something we had started over at Met because our guys would eat donuts in the morning and then from there we'd go to breakfast. So, when the wellness program, and we were fortunate enough to have a gym on site nearby, which you guys just right down the street. So, couple people been onto it and, I saw some results.
I've actually done a survey of some people around the office and there's definitely an interest.
Yeah.
So I think that's the first step.
Good.
Got a question on the PM program you were talking about. Is the PM program you guys are developing, is it going to develop a backlog report?
Yes, complete.
Okay, and that's very important because the backlog report will show that as your backlog grows, that's where you can use that backlog to justify bringing on more people because you don't have enough personnel or hours in the day to get the work done that needs to be done. And it's a good tool to have. So I'm glad you guys are generating a backlog report on that.
My desire, which we'll be working on in the implementation process, and I'm not 100% sure we can do it, but my desire is that if it's on a scheduled cleaning date and we haven't met that cleaning date, the line goes red. And so it's more of a, hey, as you know, this one needs to get taken care of like right now style. So that's my intent. I've been working with Jerome from Ames, and he's on it. I mean, some of the stuff, which as we go through the implementation process, I'll bring it to the board. First, I'll probably bring it to the sewer committee and then bring it to the board, but it's exciting.
But the reality, Ben, is that, you know, you guys are going to not be able to get all the work done. That's just a fact of life. But at the same time, it's a great tool for you to give to the general manager to say, hey, you know what, we need to get one more person or two more persons to be able to get this backlog cleared up. And it's a way to justify that expense.
Yeah, provides a history as well in terms of the maintenance being performed.
And that's the first thing they ask for. If we have an issue, the first thing they come in and ask for is, when was the last time I was cleaned and what was the findings? And then the second thing is the time before that, and the time before that, and the time before that, because they're trying to establish a history. And this software, my intent is the next generation will be able to go back from the moment it went into place and go from there.
That's important. Thank you. That's all I had.
All right. Thank you. Okay, Director of Administration update, Sherry Tim.
So the month of March, we had 19 accounts that were shut off for non-payment. Late fees charged were to a total of 874 accounts in the amount of $5,129.05, and those were charged on the delinquent accounts for non-payment. And I'm really happy to announce that phase 2 of our Metron meter project or install has begun today. Once this phase is completed, we'll have a little over 1,600 accounts that have been connected with our new Metron meters, which is very exciting. That's just going to help us with conservation efforts. That's going to put information in the customer's hands that can help them watch what water use they have and budget for themselves. So that's happening, and we anticipate that being done approximately, it'll be by the first part of next week, will be done. And a big shout out to Ben for coordinating the GIS with billing to provide the map for the vendor that's doing the install, which is obviously very important. And this is what are the streets again, Ben? It's on the
One's going right now, it's from Rosenbull, I should say that, no, it's Orange to Holiday and 35th to whatever that last street is right there. It's not an actual street number, but it's right there. It's a big chunk. It's a big chunk. I think it's 646, somewhere right there.
Yeah.
So.
Great.
And if there are no questions, that's the end of my report.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Public Works update, John Houghton.
John is not here this evening. If you guys have any questions for the report, I'll do my best to answer them.
Any questions? I have a question. It's one of those, I don't know what I'm looking at, but how does 4 buckets of grit get in a sewer system manhole like that?
Well, there's multiple ways. Like,
Well, for one thing, it's what goes into the sewer, and that's the number one. Number two, you could have corrosion on the crown of the sewer that's feeding grit and rock and stuff like that into it. A lot of it to where you could have been some surcharging. So there's all kinds of ways. Anytime you can inspect a sewer and you see something like that, that means there's some blockage. And it's basically surcharging in there. And the surcharging will usually happen during your peak flows. Your low flows, it'll finally settle out. That's why when you do a sewer inspection, you pop a manhole, you look for debris up on the shelf. And that will give you an indication if any time during the peak flows that sewer line is surcharging. So you can do to where there is that you want to camera that line and you want to see what's causing that. And it could be the fact is that maybe that line is now reached capacity. So during high flows, you're getting surcharging, and that's an indication that you need to start planning on relieving that line with a larger line. Something like that, when you see a lot of sludge in there and it's covering the shelf up, that is because you've got a lot of debris in that line, and it could have just all let loose eventually. But it just means that, for one thing, you're going to have to clean that grit out. You're going to have to clean that line, make sure that there's no blockage in there. And then after you've gone ahead and used your vacuum to pull all that sludge out, and then you clean that section of line, that's the time when you want to go ahead and camera it to make sure that there's no internal causes of that much grit getting in there. But that tells me right there is that you've probably got not a full blockage on that line, but you've got a partial blockage in that line.
So I didn't hear you say anything about illegal dumping or anything, because I didn't know what I was looking at. But in fact, this morning, I saw on the news that the homeless are living in the sewer system structures in Los Angeles.
Don't be hating, don't be hating.
And they tried to get them out, and they put a very heavy plate over the structure. Those guys were able to get it off, and they're back in there.
You know, the amazing part about sewers, there are gases in there that people shouldn't be exposed to. I remember years ago, we chased a guy into a manhole cover. We went down there being heroic people, and sanitation said that's the worst thing we could have done. Go down in there because of all those gases or whatever. So we got to fix some of it.
Hydrogen sulfide.
A lot of times sewers will get confused with storm drains. And a lot of people will see the manhole cover and they automatically think sewer, but a lot of times it is a storm drain cover. And even though that is dangerous in itself, it's still a confined space. The one thing about a sewer is that is the most dangerous place you can be in. The simple fact is every sewer in existence creates sulfide gas and H2S. And H2S, when you smell it, you're going to smell rotten eggs for about 3 to 5 seconds. And after that, you don't smell nothing no more and you're going to die. Pure and simple.
Yeah. So if you smell that rotten egg, yeah, clock's ticking.
Then you take out your phone and Google it. See
Clock's ticking.
Yeah, see what it is, what's it smell.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to comment on all the pictures. Pictures are very good. It tells a story. I see a very versatile skill set of employees out here working. I think back to my days at Met. You need construction services to come out and dig the ditch. Then you would need the pipeline crew to come out and install, and it would be 3 different type of skill sets. But you guys are doing it all in one here. That looks pretty good.
I'll share your comments with the staff.
Okay.
They were a great team. They work very well together, and they don't gatekeep knowledge to try to teach each other and try to help each other out. So it's a really good team here.
Yeah, you guys haven't seen any snakes out there, huh?
No, we have.
They're waking up.
We have removed 2 rattlesnakes from well 9 in the last week.
Hmm.
Just move them outside the gate.
Yeah.
They're not ratepayers, they gotta go. I'm sorry. They're not paying
Off the
the
property, please.
Okay, anything else? Okay, that's it. I guess we'll adjourn at 7:06.